Most make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackie and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackie and Judd.
Yeah, that's right. The only show in America with enough guts to actually put statistics next to our predictions. This is a Write That Down Wednesday, an accountability session coming up here, presented by our friends, gentlemen, at TCL. Man, the TCL TV's been getting a workout these days. Free agency, you got March Madness, you got Wolves and Wild and all sorts of stuff. The Wild?
Just
Can't stop them. Doesn't matter if you take away their best player. TCL is an official partner of the NFL. No matter what you watch, TSL. I almost said TSA because Declan and I were talking about clear versus TSA
That's
pre.
important stuff. I'm not going to scoff.
So I'm at, just real quick, I'm at the Barrett Sports Media Summit in Los Angeles here this week, and this won't mean anything to Judd really, but this afternoon, Shawn Michaels is speaking for 40 minutes. Oh, just one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. And I was telling Declan, I don't want to like stay an extra night. I'm trying to get home, and so my flight options were sort of like boarding at 3:20 is the best option for me on Delta today. But Shawn Michaels speaks from 1:30 to 2:10. So I'm trying to see, can I watch him speak until like 2 and then speed my way through LA traffic to LAX? But I do have clear, so I don't have to wait in a long security line. I'm gonna risk missing my flight so I can see Shawn Michaels.
It's Los Angeles traffic, though. That's the problem. It's not the clear.
Sometimes you got to take risks in life, Judd.
This is HBK, Judd. This is on the mount. This is one of our favorite wrestlers of all time. How many times can you say you got?
Hey, listen, I'm not saying then that's fine. Then plan on missing your flight.
I'm never going to be in the same small room with Shawn Michaels ever again. It's like 60 people and Shawn Michaels, okay? And Judd, if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you, okay? That's right. You can figure out what those 2 words are.
All I got to say is the Buffalo Kid is not going to make it through that Los Angeles traffic. The 405 is going to eat you alive.
That would be Judd's wrestling slogan right there. Redefine creativity with the TCL 30V 5G smartphone. Enjoy blazing fast 5G speed, an AI-powered 50-megapixel triple camera system, and ultra-realistic true-to-life visuals powered by Next Vision. Booming sound from the dual speakers. Learn more at TCL.com. All right, here's how it works. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. And listeners, if you want to participate, you can send us a message through the Score North app. Chris is going to take his second shot. He's a little disappointed in the results from his first time on Write That Down a couple years ago. He's back for some vengeance or maybe some checkdowns. But first, the accountability session.
Okay.
We'll start with Judd. I don't think after an historic week last week where you had multiple touchdowns, completions.
Yep. Perfect week, right?
I don't think anything came off the board. So you...
I like it that way.
Like a bye week for Judd. All right. I think we can take this one off for old Macadac. I said Jim Harbaugh will get an NFL coaching job before April 1st. Well, he did his usual annual feelers, and there were some reports out there. But I don't think he's going to be an NFL coach in the next week. So
yeah,
take that one off the board. I did tell you guys that Aaron Rodgers would take shots at the media on how his situation is being portrayed or played out. Didn't take him long to start naming specific reporters and trashing them on the Pat McAfee show. He took the bus and ran over Adam Schefter, Diana Rossini, Ian Rappaport.
Immediately, too.
Pretty quickly. I think did he do that before he announced like what was sort of happening?
I'm not sure about that, but your prediction came, and then it was like that day he spoke, and like within an hour, I think that you had that hit.
Yeah.
So you were right on track.
Not a touchdown. Not a touchdown because Aaron's a spiteful guy. Pretty obvious. All right, listeners, I don't think anything came off the board for the listeners. Declan had a bunch of stuff come off the board here. You said Aaron Rodgers will not confirm he's being traded to the Jets on his McAfee appearance.
So he said he wanted to go there, right? He said he wanted to go there, but he didn't necessarily confirm that I'm being traded to the Jets. He said he
Declan's going to fight this right now.
Jets. That's the nature of this. He said he has interest in playing for the Jets, But the report was, are you going to be traded to the Jets? He did not confirm that. He just said he wants to play for the Jets.
Wow.
So I personally think the wording of this is still correct, and it hits.
Wow.
Not confirmed, but he confirmed from his end, like he said, it's on the Packers though, Dex.
But
this is interesting. I didn't I didn't know Declan was going to put up a fight here. Okay, so you said, and I get this is just what has been written. So this is how. And sometimes there's a discrepancy between what you say and what you put in the sheet. So we might have to do some further review here.
Yeah.
But as it's written in the sheet here, Declan said Aaron Rodgers will not confirm he's being traded to the Jets on his McAfee appearance.
But he doesn't have the power to confirm that. He has the power to say, I want to be traded, which he did.
But he is an idiot.
And the Packers...
he would say it if he wanted to say it. And Trey Wingo's report came down the 2 days before. So I personally think that the wording and verbiage of this is correct. He did not confirm.
I think there needs to be a review. I think there needs to be an offside review. I think we need to go to Toronto. New York.
So we have Declan is going to play this game under protest. So here's what we're going to do. Because I thought this was so obvious. Let's do this. In the YouTube comment section here, Purple Daily listeners and viewers, YouTube comment section. If we see overwhelming support for Declan, or if we see more than
it to the audience,
more than 50% support for Declan, we will take this to write that down court.
Okay.
Because I think if it was just up to Judd and I think both of us would say, I don't know, man. But we'll open it up. If you get a bunch of support from listeners, then we will explore further. Okay.
Yeah. Good. I like that.
Okay.
I'm good with that. No, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I hope the listeners have my back here. Come on.
Oh, boy.
These two jackals. I would like the listeners to have my back here.
I have your back when I feel that I should. In this case, I feel you're violating the spirit of the entire project.
Okay. Yeah. You also said Adam Thielen. You got close on the region here. You said he would play for a Florida-based NFL team like the Jags, Bucks, or Dolphins. It's close. It's a sort of a southeastern team, but it's incorrect. You did, however, say Harrison Smith would remain on the Vikings roster by the end of March 15th, last Wednesday. Nice. Correct. And that the Vikings would hand out at least one more multi-year contract in free agency within the next 72 hours. And correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Dean Lowry fit into that window on a 2-year contract.
Pretty sure.
That is correct.
Dean Lowry.
See? That's a nice call.
Little backdoor.
Yep.
So with that, the listeners still have a 100% completion percentage. Small sample size, but, we're like a quarter of the way through the season here. So nice job, listeners. Judd, you're at 66.7%. You lead with 2 touchdowns. I'm at 57.1, yet to throw a touchdown. Declan at 23.1, but with a protest pending here. Judd leads the all-time career completion percentage at 35.5%. I lead with 33 touchdowns all time. All right, let's get guest listener predictor Chris in the room here, making his second trip to the Write That Down arena. Chris is in his car. Are you driving right now, or are you safely stopped somewhere?
I am safely stopped and parked. I can confirm that.
Okay. Chris is like, I'm driving 82 miles an hour right now.
I'm on 494, going the wrong way.
He's replicating the Adrian Peterson 109 miles an hour on 62 back in the day. So here's how this works. We're going to go around the room 3 times. We're going to each make one prediction, 3 laps around the room. And you just have to be football-centric or something show-related. It's been a couple of years since you've been on here, Chris. So tell the audience, tell us, what is your background as a Vikings fan?
Well, I think it was a caller 2 weeks ago. I grew up in South Dakota. I did too. My family was big Vikings fans. I think one of my earliest memories is... I don't remember it, but I feel like I remember watching the 87 NFC Championship game against Washington and just feeling the life get sucked out of that room. I was 3 at that time, so I think that's one of my earliest memories. Wow. So just been living in the one before we die for a long time. So
yeah. And then, of course, CBS put up, and we know this, but CBS put it in graphic form today on social media. They listed all-time best winning percentages for every NFL franchise since the Super Bowl era began. And the Vikings as a franchise, I think they actually moved up because of the 13 wins last year. So the Vikings have the 3rd best record win percentage regular season in NFL history. Cowboys are number 1. Steelers are number 2. Vikings are 3, just ahead of Ravens, Patriots, Packers, Dolphins, and Niners. You go down the list. This is a list of, I think, is it 14 teams on here? 13 teams. The Vikings are the only one without a Super Bowl. So
hang the banner, baby. The regular season banner. Put it up.
Greatest regular season team to not have a Super Bowl. So, all right, we're going to start with Chris, Judd, Declan, me. 3 chips around the room. Chris, you're under center. Go ahead.
Thanks. So write that down. The Vikings will trade. We'll have a trade that involves giving away their 2023 first-round pick and acquiring a 2024 first-round pick. So that's my other ones are going to kind of be completions, but that's the one that I want to be a touchdown.
Interesting. So they might trade out of the first round, like trade back into the second round and get someone's 2024 first-round pick, kind of.
Right. I'm not saying those are the only 2 things involved in it, but they will be giving up their 2023 first-round pick and acquiring a 2024 first-round pick.
Interesting. Some people were bringing up, I can't remember who it was, someone tweeted at us yesterday, the year that the Buffalo Bills drafted Josh Allen, that they wound up making 2 different moves, including like a pick swap to get to the top 10 to eventually draft Josh Allen. So I wonder if there might be some creativity there, but for like the 2024 draft or something. So, okay, Judd.
Adam Thielen will play in 13 or fewer games for the Carolina Panthers next season.
Write it down. You like
Adam Thielen, who has trouble these days staying on the field as a geriatric wide receiver, will play in 13 or fewer games for the Carolina Panthers in 2023.
Your hatred and disdain for Adam Thielen.
It's not hatred. It's a
reality. You could have just
reality
let him
check.
He's now a Panther. They sent a nice family photo out with all the Thielens wearing Panthers gear.
They're very excited.
You could have just left it alone, and here you are poking at Adam Thielen again.
I'm just taking advantage of the fact that I think he's going to really play hard, and it's going to get him hurt.
Write this down.
Okay. All right, Dex.
All right, write this down. Za'Darius Smith will be a member of the Vikings in 2023. Za'Darius Smith isn't going anywhere. I think he stays put in 2023. So I'm going to put that on the record. He will be a member of the Vikings in 2023. I guess end date week 1. Like he will be on the roster on week 1.
Okay. So do you think, just off the record, do you think that this means Danielle Hunter won't be, or will they have 3 edge rushers basically because Marcus Davenport's on the team?
Yeah, I mean, the theory of all 3 of them on the roster is actually awesome. I would love that idea. But the problem is I don't think you can keep all 3 of these guys happy, so that's my long-winded way of saying I think they will explore Danielle trade offers and keep Za'Darius Smith as kind of a mercenary, and Davenport is a mercenary, and maybe even draft a defensive end early in the draft.
All right. Okay, write this down. I'll give you a Marcus Davenport prediction here. So, did you guys see that Florio thing the other day? Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Yeah. He woke up in the morning and he does this sometimes, even though he's plugged in and he could just reach out to someone with the Vikings. He wrote an article on ProFootballTalk.com, just openly speculating. The Vikings haven't announced a contract for Marcus Davenport yet, even though the terms have been reported. He's saying that they haven't sent any press release out. They haven't held a press conference. This is interesting. And Judd, you kind of noted that too, just oh, that's interesting. It was up for an hour. People, and I retweeted and said, I think it's for cap reasons because the Vikings have a really tight cap situation. So they probably, here's the agreement. Let's not sign it yet because we have to pull a couple other strings, right? An hour later, he must have gotten a note from someone with the Vikings, like Brzezinski or somebody, and he said, never mind, nothing to see here. Marcus Davenport will be a Viking.
Yeah, it was supposedly signed on Friday because Gessling.
There you go.
cited sources as saying it's done now. I don't know that they're going to do a press conference. So
yeah. So anyways, Marcus Davenport had a half sack last year. People are all worked up. How can you give $13 million to a guy who had a half sack? Well, he had a bunch of pressures. Maybe it was bad luck. I'm telling you that Marcus Davenport will surpass his 2022 sack total in week 1. He will have a sack in week 1.
Okay.
Is that a touchdown? Because he had a half sack last year. I'm telling you, he's going to have a sack in the first game.
I guess if it's early enough in this, like you're doing this in March, so yes. But I feel like if you made this prediction going into the game, like the week of, I would say no because it's just a sack. Personally,
Okay, I don't
that's
need a
where I'd be
touchdown.
at.
I'm just I gotta ask.
It's very borderline.
Okay, well, if I said 2 sacks, what if I said
Yeah.
he'd quadruple?
Oh yeah,
quadruple his total?
Yes,
Yeah.
if it's 2 sacks, if you go 2 sacks week 1, yes, that's a touchdown.
You know what? Screw it. He's gonna at least quadruple his total in sacks in week 1. He's gonna have at least 2 week 1 sacks.
Write it
Now
down.
you got-
You like
now it's
writing things
touchdown.
down?
Okay, let's get it, baby. All right, Chris, what's your second prediction?
All right, my second prediction, write that down. Lamar Jackson will negotiate and agree to a contract with another team after the 2023 NFL draft.
Okay.
So, I'm not saying whether or not the Ravens match it or not, but I just think teams are going to be more likely to risk those 2024 and 2025 first-round picks than giving one up in the 2023 draft.
I think you're probably onto something there, including the Vikings.
I was going to say,
perhaps.
which team off the
Write
record
this
do you think
down.
it's going to be?
I have an update on that after write that down for you guys.
I'm just asking.
A sportsbook update.
I'm just asking Chris off the record who he thinks. I mean, do you think it's the purple?
I don't think it's the purple.
All
I think
right.
it's going to be an AFC team. I think he wants to stay over there and face the Ravens as much as he can.
Okay.
Let's just say there's a sports book that just put some new odds out, and
Yep. Sportsbooks don't guess.
although there is a disclaimer on this one that says for entertainment purposes only,
Yeah, sure,
so I don't know what that
but
means.
Sportsbooks break legs and fingers to get information. Okay. Let's just put it that way.
Judd, you're up next.
Okay, because I do think that the Aaron Rodgers to New Jersey deal does get done here. The Jets will be scheduled for 5 primetime games in 2023. So 5,
Exactly
so
5?
exactly 5, which is what you max out at. So it's not like it's the max. So the Jets will get 5 primetime appearances in 2023.
Interesting.
Just a clarification. So when they come out with the schedule, they'll have 5 on there, or are you saying if there's 4 and they backdoor into one, late in the season?
No, let's say that when the schedule comes out,
Okay.
because if we wait, it's going to be the entire
Correct.
year. No, let's just go with when the schedule comes out, probably May now, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's been moved
it's
to.
May. Mm-hmm.
Yep, we'll say that.
Okay, you just gave me an idea for a prediction, but Dex is next here.
Write it down. You like writing things down?
Will Levis will go outside the top 10 of the 2023 draft. I think his stock is falling. It's falling a bit. So I've seen other mocks that have him outside the 10, even going as late in the later teens. I don't think he'll be a top 10 pick in this year's draft. So Will Levis will go outside the top 10 of the NFL draft. Write it down.
Yeah, this is it's funny. This after the combine and the interviews and stuff. So if his stock is falling, did he just do a bad job holding the football in these meetings with the Vikings? Here, kid, why don't you hold on to this while we ask you weird questions about your past?
I think he's being sabotaged on purpose by teams that want to get him. This is very remindful of the Jake Locker thing, who went into his final year as the projected top pick, and then there were accuracy issues, right? And the mocks had him falling to the teens, blah blah blah. And I think he went 8th.
Yeah, and it turns out he was a huge bust, right? He had
Yep.
some injury issues, but he was a huge bust. Okay, write this down. Let's go with this one. Judd, you said no. I'm gonna actually do a Hendon Hooker prediction because I think I've now seen 2 different things, including the Daniel Jeremiah mock we did yesterday that had the Vikings taking him 23rd, and then I saw another. I can't remember who it was, but another draft expert on Twitter. Might have been one of the PFF guys saying, here are 3 players that will go higher than you think, and here are 3 players that will go lower than you think. Hooker was on the higher. So Hooker's gaining steam. I think a team is going to absolutely talk themselves into wanting that 5th-year option, considering his injury situation. So Hendon Hooker, write this down, will be drafted in the first round. I could even see it being the 32nd pick off the record, because there's such a, especially if he can't really play this year. And I get that he's 25, but if he's rehabbing from this injury and whatnot, and you can't play him anyways until October or November, don't you want that 5th-year option on a guy like him, even though he'll be 30 years old by the time he kicks in?
A first-round pick. But yeah, with that logic, yes, you do.
Write it down. You like
there you go.
writing things down?
All right, back to Chris, your third and final prediction.
All right. For my third prediction, write that down. Justin Jefferson will finish top 5 in receiving yards in the 2023 NFL season.
Okay.
So not just wide receivers. I know Kelsey's up there quite a bit too, so he counts. But 5th or tied for 5th or better in receiving yards for the 2023 season.
All right. There's Chris. A redemption tour for Chris here. His second appearance on Write That Down. Since you've got this life-changing platform here, again, Chris, is there anyone you'd like to thank that brought you to this moment?
Going back to what I said earlier, my parents have always really been there for me, and raising me to be a Vikings fan, will count that as being there for me too through 98 and 2009 and all that good stuff. But they've been wonderful parents, and I really appreciate everything they've done for me. So.
Wow. Awesome, man. All right, Chris. Great stuff. Enjoy the rest of your week, and good luck with your predictions.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right. Good stuff there from Chris. It's always nice when people thank their parents, even though it's a little Stockholm syndrome, and that you're thanking the parents that subjected you to a life as a tortured Vikings fan, and then you're thanking them for helping you get through it. I mean, they're the ones that put the burden on you in the first place.
Well, right. They brought you into this hellhole, and now you're like, thank you very much. I always feel the worst for the guys who thank their poor wives, because they're like, I can just see
their wife is in the background. Why are you? What are you doing?
But I feel for the wife.
Middle of a Wednesday, and you're just on a Vikings podcast.
But I feel for the wives, because God knows how much furniture flies around the house when something goes wrong. You got to clean up when the hubby throws the dips and chip across the room because he's pissed off about the game. That's what I'm saying. I feel bad for them, because they're like, why are you so weird? Why'd I marry you?
Don't throw the dip, okay? Don't throw the dip. It's an amateur.
So I got one question before I get to my next. Write that down. How late was Macadac out? And what was the drink total? Because the voice is definitely day after.
Boy.
I mean, it sounds like Smoker's voice, and I know you don't smoke.
It's red. It was 4 glasses of red wine.
Oh,
boy,
yeah.
Phil.
It
Nice.
was, but it was over a period of probably 4 hours. It was probably one glass.
That's a good pace. That's just being responsible.
The last one was a good pour. So I was not expecting to get the 4th, and then when I got the 4th, it was just a really ridiculous pour. So, but not that late. I think. It's Pacific time, so I guess Central time it was late. But it was I was lights out around 10:15 Pacific time last night.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
12:15. Yeah.
The voice says fun night.
Also, so I wish I could tell you that I was out ripping it up, partying and stuff. It was a nice little gathering with some sports media folks here in LA. Yeah. The problem is when you get into these places and it's loud and there's music and the World Baseball Classic was on.
Yeah.
It's the first time I had watched any of it. How about Ohtani versus Trout for the entire thing?
Very cool.
And the Angels can't figure out how to even get a wild card spot. Just an idiot front office.
That was their World Series right there. Both of them.
Yeah, Mike Trout said this is the greatest baseball moment of my life, which is unfortunate for him. What I'm saying is when you're just talking for 2 or 3 hours over a loud crowd and shouting, that's more. I mean, the red wine contributed, but I wasn't ripping heaters or anything.
No, I didn't think you were. That's why I asked.
Declan.
Could be.
Maybe today. Maybe I'll rip some heaters today. So, all right, Joe, what's your third and final prediction?
All right.
You like writing things down?
Write this down. Ezekiel Elliott will sign with the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Ezekiel Elliott, who is currently looking for work, and I think there are a few options. But as Dukes has said before, the Falcons are definitely in the Dalvin Cook or Worm mix. That could happen, but I'm going to go with Zeke to Atlanta. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that division's just crying for someone to be aggressive and take it, right? It's easily the worst division on paper. Okay, Declan.
All right, my final prediction.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
Let's go to the XFL. Well, I think I'm 0 for 3 on XFL predictions so far this season, which I made a killing last year on the USFL and XFL. It helped me dig myself out of this grave, so I'm going to try for this one. The DC Defenders will remain undefeated, and they will defeat the Battlehawks, in the XFL this week. The DC Defenders get the Battlehawks. They're 5-0. They will remain undefeated. They will defeat the Battlehawks.
That's St. Louis Battlehawks, right? You said?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently they're killing it with attendance. They're just desperate. They've got the Blues, they've got the Cardinals, they lost the Rams. They have a new MLS team, but
Blues aren't good too, which helps.
Yeah, they're just chomping at the bit for some sports apparently. Okay, write this down. My final prediction here: Ty Chandler will lead Vikings running backs in touches in 2023.
That's a touchdown.
Ty Chandler will lead Vikings running backs.
Now we're talking touchdown. Now we're talking.
So off the record, I don't think Dalvin Cook's going to be on the team. I don't know.
Sure.
They don't have like a deadline here now that the injury guarantee kicked in. So maybe there's a draft trade. Maybe they trade him post June 1st or something. But it'll be Ty Chandler, Alex Madison, and I think at the end of the day you'll find out that Ty Chandler is a pretty good running back. So, or Alex Madison gets hurt. I don't know. Before we get to the latest Lamar Jackson odds and where the Vikings sit on that list, let's tell the audience if they're looking to lose some weight here as the warm months approach, where can they do that? Who can help them with that?
Oh, you know what? It's funny you ask, because I could tell you right now, the people who help me and the people who are going to help you. In fact, look at that guy right there, huh? Livia Weight Control Centers. That's right. Body by Livia, ladies and gentlemen. And this isn't a diet. I keep saying this, but it's important. This is a lifestyle change. The actual dropping of the weight, I dropped approximately 40 pounds, was as simple as could be. But here's the best part. They are going to help you keep that weight off. And so, as Phil just said, if you're looking in the mirror right now and you're thinking, man, winter has taken its toll. If I can lose that much weight, so can you. And the place to start is by calling my friends 855 go LIVEA, Livia.com, LIVEA.com. And now you're saying, Judd, okay, this sounds great. Are there any special offers? Well, you've come to the right place. First 8 weeks for free. That's right, first 8 weeks for free. Imagine all the weight that you can drop over that time. You will feel great, look great. People will see that and be like, whoa, you look fantastic for summer. 855 go Livia, Livia.com.
So every year we do the Score North Pick Your Prize contest where you can, I'm just going to show you on the screen here. You can open the Score North app right here. It's free to download. And you probably, if you're registered or signed in, you'll just get this little alert. If not, go to Listener Awards. You click Enter to Win or tap it. Okay, Enter to Win. And you can enter once per day through the end of the month. And then we're going to pick a winner at the end of this thing. All right, look at that. See the Pick Your Prize. Boom.
Nice.
Live from an LA hotel room here, the USC hotel. And so there's 10 different options to pick from if you win. My favorite, I think, is the $10,000 Cub Foods gift card. I don't even know. I don't know if they put it on a gift card or what, but you basically get $10,000 in Cub Foods value, which will keep the Zolgad family.
I could use that.
Ready to rock
you
and
could
roll.
use that.
I love Cub.
So check it out, Score North app, pick your prize. You can enter once per day, and there's a grand prize winner that will pick a $10,000 value prize. You can see a full list on there as well. Okay, and also we have openings the next few months for additional advertisers on Purple Daily here. And so if you're interested, if you're a business owner and you want to get the word out about your business to our awesome Score North and Purple Daily audience, send me an email. Let's start a conversation. PMackey, PMACKEY, at scorenorth.com. That's SKOR North.com. Okay, bookies.com. How much do you trust the odds on bookies.com? For entertainment purposes only. They don't actually have this, available. But do you think they're just spitballing here, or do you think they're breaking thumbs to find information?
I hope the latter.
Breaking thumbs.
I hope they're threatening.
Have you ever broke your thumb before? It does not feel good.
I don't even want to talk about
I've
that.
Never broken a bone in my body, fun fact.
You never have?
No, never broke a bone in my body.
Broke my collarbone when I was 5. That sucked.
Oh, really?
That's very specific.
Tony Romo style.
Yeah.
Collarbone? Not that specific. Just hurt like hell.
So here's the latest odds. Lamar Jackson destinations. And I'll give you, they have implied probability. So they put the percentages here. Baltimore Ravens, 31% to go back to Baltimore. 20% Tennessee Titans. 17% New England Patriots. 15% Minnesota Vikings.
Wow.
The Vikings are the fourth most likely team, including the Ravens, for Lamar Jackson to play for, according to bookies.com. And then it goes Colts, Jets, Falcons, and the field is 15%, basically the same as the Vikings.
It's very intriguing that Jeremy Fowler of ESPN threw the Vikings out. And, to go back to what we've talked about, if you work for them, you're not making stuff up. So you talk to people.
Yes, and you're not allowed to make if
you're
Jeremy
right.
Fowler, you have people that you're like editors and stuff that
he doesn't
just like go on TV and say, I'm gonna make something up.
Yeah, and like when we come up with stuff, it's just often topical. Like we're like, what if Lamar Jackson became a Viking? And then we'll talk about it, and that's fun too. But this is real reporting, and so I think that definitely drives things. If nothing else, I think you could say this. It's very safe to deduce that with Kirk Cousins going into his last season of his contract, it doesn't mean he's done, but the Vikings would have to be doing a ton of due diligence right now. They have to be. Like, you're not going to be like, well, we're not going to re-sign Kirk probably, or Kirk's not going to take our offer, so we'll go back and revisit this whole thing in a year. You're going to actually be doing due diligence. So do I think Lamar Jackson comes here? No. Do I think it's something the Vikings probably are, checking on? Yeah, absolutely.
And this is kind of to a guest listener predictor, Chris's prediction. It makes more sense for the Vikings to wait until after the draft, because once a couple things happen. Once you get past, then you can you only have one pick in the first 86. If you're going to do this, you want to wait so you can use your 2023 first round pick on one of the other like 5 major needs, right? You need another wide receiver. You might need a defensive tackle. There's other things you need besides Lamar Jackson when you already have Kirk Cousins, who's a good quarterback. Also, and it depends on what you want to do with Kirk's cap situation. No matter what, you're going to have to pay like $36, $38 million either all this year or next year in cap hit for him. But it might make sense that if you did plan on trading Kirk, that like really the Niners are probably the only team that he would waive the no trade clause for, but that they want to get more information on how Brock Purdy is progressing. Like the further down the line you can kick this thing, and maybe the Niners would rather just like get past the draft. So it makes sense. I don't think the Vikings would do it before the draft, but once the draft is over, and if he still hasn't signed an offer sheet somewhere. But the other thing, we talked about this, was it yesterday or Monday? Your offer has to be big enough because the Ravens want him back, and the Ravens can match any offer. So your offer has to be big enough to where the Ravens would say, "Whoa, too rich for our blood," or too much guaranteed money over 5 years or something.
Now, I do think that the relationship between Jackson and the Ravens has gotten to a point where it's been made pretty clear he does not want to go back, which might influence, hey, we'll take the 2 first-round picks. But I think you're right, Phil. I think that this is going to be – I don't think he's going to get an offer sheet until the draft is done because, one, there's a group of quarterbacks there who are going to be, taken, and that's important. And 2 is, why would I want to give up my first-round pick that's coming up in a month when I can give up my first-round picks in 2024, 25, have much more time to prepare for that once this is done. So I think the whole thing does not unfold until probably some point in May. And the only intriguing thing about that is teams that can't sign him to an offer sheet now because they don't have a first-round pick for 2023, i.e., as an example, the Miami Dolphins. They can get involved too. But, I mean, this is going to be another fun thing because it's going to – the Lamar Jackson thing being quiet right now means nothing. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not like teams don't care. I know
Why
teams said
we're making him any offers. No one wants him.
It's strategy.
That's not what's happening.
Yeah. It's strategy. And if you are the Colts and you don't get a quarterback in the first round that you want, guess what? Lamar Jackson, pretty damn attractive.
Yeah.
So, like, there's a lot to play out here. And I like your point, too, which is because Cousins probably only goes to San Fran. I like that point that San Fran also can slow cook things too then.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this is going to be juicy, and the Vikings continue to pop up with the Jeremy Fowlers and bookies.com, so just something to watch. All right, we got to run. We got another Write That Down session over on Mackie and Judd here to admit where we were wrong again. And thanks for hanging out with us here. Daily Vikings Entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. We'll see you guys tomorrow.